So they arrested me over putting up a sticker. I mean, it honestly felt like a joke. When they arrested me and brought me into the building, I said something like, "Where do you keep the detainees? Great, I'll have to see them now." Something along those lines. They asked where to take me, and their response was to take me to the third floor. They brought me into the room and told me to sit down. There was a female police officer there, someone I vaguely recognized from before through different projects. I had invited her to speak on issues regarding violence against women, and as far as I knew, she'd previously worked with children in conflict with the law. I asked her, Miss Nana, if she could give me a painkiller. I had my period. I also asked to be taken to the bathroom so I could change. She didn't object to anything. By the time I realized I was under arrest, I was already past the gate. Several people were holding my arms and dragging me forward very quickly. I could hear someone swearing behind me, and I heard fast footsteps. The whole time I had this feeling that someone was going to hit me in the back of the head. I don't know why I laugh about this, but I get angry when I think about how I ended up in this situation. They were taking me very quickly, a few people at once. When we got to the police building, they showed me into the first room on the first floor with such force that the door burst open from the impact. They told me to sit on the couch. I couldn't stand, so I sat down. I was struggling to stay on my feet. Once I started to come to my senses and looked around, I saw two young female police officers and one man in the room. It was a very small room, just one table and a small cabinet opposite the couch. The room was very narrow. A few minutes later, I can't recall exactly, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, a young man stormed in, yelling and swearing. It was the same voice I had heard behind me earlier. He had this commanding, aggressive tone. That's what stuck in my mind. He barged in, still swearing, the same words he was using while following behind me earlier. He was swearing at me, not in general. And he just burst into the room swearing, shouting, "How dare you hit me?" And he kept coming toward me, swearing, insulting my mother. The second or third time he stormed in the room, he got even more creative with the insults. Every time I remember it, it feels so degrading, especially he focused heavily on gender-based slurs. He wanted me as a woman to feel utterly degraded. That's what he emphasized over and over with his insults. I can send a letter from prison listing all the things Gebuadze said to me. I don't want to repeat them here. Even recalling is unbearable. I don't want to repeat them. I had never been in a situation like this. I was shocked. After the first outburst, when he was removed after coming toward me, I turned to the man in the room and asked, "Who is this man? Does he always speak like this?" He said, "What, you don't know him? He's Iraklit Gebuadze." Of course, I had heard the name. But between him and Beselia, I couldn't recall which one was the regional chief and which was in charge of Batumi. I asked, "What's his position?" And he answered, "Head of Batumi police." I didn't really perceive it as a just verbal threat because he was moving toward me physically. I had a constant feeling that he was going to hit me. Honestly, if the other officers had not held him back, I don't think he would have just kicked me. He would have beaten me, full stop. While he was cursing at me, I kept trying to tell myself this is not happening to me. I wanted to shut everything out. I was sitting on the couch, and his feet came so close, I looked up at him. I knew he was about to hit me. When I looked at him, he stopped for a moment and spat in my face. To this day, I can't forgive myself for staying silent in that moment. I still don't understand. How didn't I smash everything in that room? How didn't I scream? I don't know. Was it fear? I don't know what it was. I still can't name it. And maybe I'll never forgive myself. After he spat at me, I was feeling so bad. The only thing I managed to do was standing up and saying, "Bring me some water, take me to the bathroom." I just wanted to wash my face, I don't know. One of the female officers, I think her name was Tsira, had to move me slightly because the room was so narrow. She reached for the cabinet and took a cup, probably to get me some water. She was headed for the door when a voice stopped her. It was Gebuadze's voice again. "No, no water. Don't take her to the bathroom. Let her piss herself." I remember just sitting down and mentally shutting off, trying not to cry. I don't know, like I said. That day in the police station, everyone's behavior was aimed at making me feel utterly dehumanized. Seriously. Looking back, especially the male officers, the female ones remained completely silent. When they came to put on handcuffs, a man came in. I think his name was Atabegashvili, and he said, "Why isn't she cuffed?" They put the cuffs on me. Then he came back in and said, "Why are her hands cuffed in front? Cuff her hands behind her back. Now." And he said it with such smugness, the kind of look that makes you feel like you are being trampled with every glance. That was the attitude. Every single look was demeaning. The reason I was in such situation, because I felt so deeply humiliated. To this day, I struggle to eat because I feel disgusted by everything about this situation that I am in. I cannot explain the exact legal qualification because I don't have the legal education to do so. Again, I'm repeating myself, but because this incident did in fact happen, to now say that I regret it, I think that it's fake. Because it happened, it was inevitable, and I have to assess it as such. It was bound to happen. I also want to say that honestly, I would feel much more in harmony with myself if I had responded with the proper words instead. But this is what happened, and I can't escape it.